Hello, Barcelona family. Like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we will talk about what Mbappé said about Barcelona and Hansi Flick, but before that, we have other topics that are also very important for our beloved club. Let's move on to the first topic. Barcelona is decisively moving for Alexander Slot. Hansi Flick approves him as the ideal heir to the goal. Barcelona is advancing silently but firmly in the design of its new sports project. Aware that any great team must be built from a reliable and forceful attacking base, the sports management has focused its attention on one of the most productive strikers of last season in Spanish football, the Norwegian Alexander Slot. The figure of the Scandinavian striker has emerged strongly as a real and powerful alternative to lead the team's offensive front. And what is most relevant is that he has the absolute support of Hansi Flick, a prestigious strategist who will be in charge of guiding the club towards a new cycle of success. Slot had a breakthrough season in Spain, in a league that always demands a high level of adaptation, tactical intelligence, and technical precision. The striker has managed to stand out on his own. His numbers support him: 17 goals in La Liga and 4 more in the Copa del Rey, signing a striker's average of 1 goal every 82 minutes, an elite record, only within the reach of strikers with extraordinary efficiency. But beyond the statistics, what has really caught Barcelona's attention is his comprehensive profile as a footballer. Physical power, aerial ability, aggression in the box, intelligence to play with his back to goal, and, above all, a reading of the game that perfectly adapts to the proactive schemes promoted by Hansi Flick. In the offices of the Joan Gamper Sports City, they positively value the fact that Slot already knows the rigors and competitiveness of Spanish football. His acclimatization is more than successful, and this represents a key strategic advantage in a context where many clubs bet on names that then require months of adaptation. The Norwegian represents a safe investment, ready to perform from the first minute. This has made his name a priority within the analysis carried out by the technical secretariat. The figure of Hansi Flick has been decisive in confirming that Slot's profile fits like a glove to the idea of play that they want to implement. The German coach is looking for a striker capable of assuming the leading role but also committed to the collective game, who understands the offensive automatisms of a team that wants to dominate through possession and high tempo. Slot, with his blend of build, mobility, and flair, represents this balance between offensive reference and integrated piece in the whole. Flick has reviewed reports, analyzed his matches, and has not hesitated to give his full approval for his eventual incorporation. But it's not just a matter of technical approval. From a strategic point of view, Slot's arrival would be a statement move that would mark a new stage in Barcelona's planning. In recent years, the club has sought this striker capable of assuming the weight of the goal in decisive moments, someone who combines character and efficiency. The Norwegian has demonstrated at every opportunity that he does not buckle under pressure scenarios, that he is capable of deciding matches with few touches, and that his presence commands respect in any rival defensive line. Furthermore, his professional behavior, his commitment on and off the field, and his humble character align with the values that the club seeks to represent. Slot is not just a scorer, he is a silent leader, a tireless worker, someone who knows the cost of earning his place and who does not need spotlights to shine. This type of profile is particularly valued in the locker room that Flick wants to build, where the collective is above individualism. Barcelona also values his versatility. Although his natural position is that of a central striker, Slot has shown he can adapt to different system variants, including a scheme with 2 strikers or as the sole reference accompanied by incisive wingers. His ability to open spaces, pin down central defenders, and allow the emergence of second-line midfielders makes him a highly valuable tactical tool for a coach like Flick, who bases much of his offense on the coordinated mobility of his pieces. On the other hand, the market context favors the possibility of carrying out the operation. Although the striker's original club has valued his departure at around €50 million, Barcelona's management considers this figure reasonable compared to other recent moves. Additionally, creative formulas are being explored to approach the operation without compromising other priorities of the sports planning. The entity has demonstrated on other occasions its ability to conclude transfers with a high economic impact using staggered payment mechanisms with an obligation to purchase or even the inclusion of variables linked to media performance. The news has begun to gain traction. Various specialized media have reported that the Catalan club would have already established preliminary contacts with the player's entourage to find out his predisposition to change the heir. The response would have been positive. Slot, at 28 years old and at the peak of his sporting maturity, is determined to make a new leap in his career, and the possibility of wearing the jersey of one of the most prestigious clubs in the world represents an irresistible opportunity. The striker, who has gone through different European leagues before shining in Spain, has the character of players who have been forged in adversity. Far from being an early star, his evolution has been progressive, built with effort and consistency. This trajectory has shaped a mature footballer, mentally prepared for the highest demands and with a sporting ambition that perfectly fits the new cycle that they want to open at the camp. In terms of brand and international image projection, Slot also represents an interesting opportunity. His figure has gained notoriety in Europe, and his status as the maximum offensive reference of the Norwegian national team makes him an asset of growing value, both in football and commercial terms. Furthermore, his nationality opens up the possibility for the club to strengthen its presence in strategic markets in Northern Europe, where the following of Spanish football is increasingly intense. As the weeks progress, everything indicates that Barcelona will continue to intensify its efforts to secure a transfer that could mark a before and after in the club. They are aware that Slot will not be available for long. The striker's good performances have awakened interest in other major leagues, and some clubs in the Premier League and the Bundesliga have already explored the possibility of incorporating him. The club's recent history demonstrates that when they bet with conviction on players with a competitive profile, the results arrive. The second piece of news concerns a very important decision for our club. The future of Raphinha at Barcelona has become one of those topics in recent weeks that has generated debate within the Barcelona environment. The rumors about his possible departure during the summer transfer window have only increased the uncertainty, a feeling that, from our point of view, has no foundation, because even considering letting a player like Raphinha go is underestimating the value of commitment, effort, and performance he has offered. A footballer who has shown from day one that he is ready to give everything for these colors. The Brazilian, with his tireless dedication, his ability to dribble, and his attitude on and off the field, has earned the respect of the locker room and a large part of the fans. He is not just a fast or technical winger. Raphinha represents that necessary grit that is lacking in key moments, that footballer who, without great fanfare, makes a difference through work, sacrifice, and determination. That's why it is so surprising, and even disappointing, that from certain spheres of the club, his departure is being seriously considered. Even more perplexing is the fact that the sports management is already actively looking for a replacement. In this context, the name of Rafael Leão has unexpectedly gained ground. The talented Portuguese attacker, a star at Milan, is seen by some as the ideal candidate to fill the place that Raphinha would leave. His physical power, his one-on-one unbalance, and his youth make him an attractive option. But at what cost? It's not about questioning Leão's qualities, but about weighing what is really at stake, because betting on the Portuguese would not only imply a huge economic investment but also giving up a footballer who already knows the club, is already adapted, and has stepped up when given confidence. And this confidence is precisely what Hansi Flick considers fundamental in team management. The new coach of the Barcelona team has not given the green light to Raphinha's departure. Flick, with his experience and clarity, has hinted that he highly values the Brazilian, believes he still has room for improvement, and can be a key piece in his project. His vision is to build a team from a stable base, to consolidate what has already been worked on, and not to dismantle pieces that can continue to grow. Does it make sense to go against this vision? Is it consistent to ignore the coach's opinion in sports planning? The Raphinha case thus becomes a clear example of the tensions that sometimes exist between the sporting and economic aspects. While Flick defends his permanence, from the offices, it seems that a possible sale is being prioritized, which would allow some room for maneuver in the market. But selling for the sake of selling can no longer be the solution. We have seen on more than one occasion how hasty decisions end up being paid for, both in sporting and emotional terms. Raphinha did not come to Barcelona to take a stroll. He came to compete, grow, and show that he is up to the level of a club with history, demand, and greatness. His combative character, his commitment in training, his defensive involvement, and his offensive unbalance make him a complete player, one of those who are not in abundance in the market. And when you have something like that at home, the most sensible thing is to cherish it, enhance it, and not put it on display at the first difficulties. Furthermore, the Rafael Leão operation would not be simple. Milan is not willing to let him go without very high compensation, and his valuation could exceed 100 million euros. Are we ready to assume this cost? What sacrifices would an operation of this magnitude imply? How many players would have to leave to bring in Leão? And above all, is all this risk worth it when we already have Raphinha? From Leão's entourage, there is talk of interest in making a leap in his career, the illusion of wearing the Blaugrana jersey, but not everything should revolve around what those from the outside want. We must also have memory and gratitude towards those who are already here. Raphinha has already played important matches, given decisive passes, scored goals that have opened tight games. He is not a promise, he is a reality. It is true that his performance has had ups and downs, but which player has not had them? The important thing is the attitude, and in this, the Brazilian has always been above average. When he has not been a starter, he has worked in silence. When he has had to compete for his place, he has done so with professionalism. When he has stepped onto the field, he has given his soul. This is also part of the Barcelona DNA and cannot be ignored. Do we really want a club that values the name of the transfer more than the history of effort? Is this the model we want to perpetuate? Betting on Raphinha is not a matter of sentimentality but of sporting logic. Hansi Flick knows this, and that's why he doesn't want to lose him. His project needs continuity, not improvisation. It needs players already committed to the cause, who have understood what this crest means, who are ready to give everything in every divided ball. And this is where we, the Barcelona fans, must make ourselves heard, because we cannot be mere passive spectators while decisions that affect the heart of the team are made. We have a voice, we have an opinion, and we have the right to question what seems not to make sense. What do you think? Should Raphinha stay in the club, or do you see logic in his possible departure? From our point of view, letting him go would be a mistake, not only for what we lose on the field but also for what we lose off it. Raphinha is one of those players who inspire, who raise the level of intensity of his teammates, who sacrifice for the team. Players like him are not in abundance, and when you have one at home, the last thing to do is to open the door for him. It's time to make decisions with the head, but also with the heart. It's time to look forward without forgetting what we already have. It's time to stop thinking that what comes from the outside will always be better, because sometimes what we need is already among us. We just need to recognize it and trust it. Raphinha deserves to continue in this team, he deserves to feel that his effort is worth it, he deserves to know that the Barcelona fans support him, and that's why today more than ever, we must raise our voices so that the story of so many others who left without deserving it is not repeated, so that we don't have to regret tomorrow what we didn't know how to defend today. Barcelona fans, Raphinha's future is at stake, and perhaps ours as a club as well. What do you think? Should he stay and continue to grow under Flick's direction, or do you think it's time to open the door for him? We read you, because this debate is not only that of the offices, it is also ours, and our voice, as always, counts. The third piece of news concerns Mbappe's words and the earthquake at Real Madrid. Mbappe drops the bomb in Madrid. Barcelona has been superior, and the white locker room is burning. A storm has unleashed in the white locker room, and its origin has a first and last name, Kylian Mbappe. What seemed to be the most desired transfer of the last decade for the Madrid team has turned in a few months into a source of discomfort, tension, and, why not say it, regret. Yes, everything indicates that Mbappe is beginning to realize that he did not choose the right path. And the worst for the white supporters is that he did not hesitate to say it openly in an interview that generated a real earthquake in the Spanish capital. The French star was categorical. He held nothing back. The last matches against Barca were tough blows, defeats that clearly show that Barcelona has demonstrated its superiority, he said without hesitation. A statement that echoed in every corner of the White Club, which tries to maintain a facade of tranquility while the cracks become more and more visible. And it's not just a phrase said in passing, it's not an isolated comment, it's the clear expression of growing disappointment. Mbappe expected to find in his new team a solid project, a winning structure, an ambitious environment, but what he found instead is a disoriented team, a management that improvises, and supporters who do not forgive. Because in Madrid, if you don't perform from the second match, you are already questioned, and if you praise the eternal rival, you immediately become a traitor. The Frenchman went further, speaking of Barcelona as a model to follow. They have a plan, they have an identity, you can see the work that Flick is doing. He is doing an excellent job, he has brought order, confidence, and a very clear idea of play, he affirmed. And here comes the second missile. I would like to work with Flick in the future. What more is needed for the white supporters to start suspecting that their star is not where he wants to be? The reaction in Madrid was not long in coming. Several sectors of the locker room showed their discontent, executives close to the presidency are furious, and on social networks, a part of the supporters are already demanding the unthinkable a few months ago, Mbappe's departure. What was a love story is now turning into a drama of disagreements. And meanwhile, from Barcelona, the smile is inevitable. How not to smile when the player for whom Florentino Perez broke all his rules, the one he waited for years, the one who was treated as the messiah of Madridismo, begins to realize that he made a mistake? How not to enjoy it when this same player openly acknowledges Barcelona's superiority, praising its work, its coach, its emerging talents? Mbappé also had words for some of the protagonists of the good Blaugrana moment. There are players who are in a spectacular moment like Raphinha and LAMINE. They make the difference, they have personality and do a lot of damage to any defense, he said. Praises that, of course, were not well received on the other side of the Castellana. How can a Madrid player speak like this about Barcelona players? That's the question many are asking in a club that boasts values but punishes sincerity. From the Barcelona perspective, it cannot be denied that these statements are heavenly music. Because it's not just about what Mbappé says, but what it implies. He publicly acknowledges the distance between a project that is advancing and another that is disintegrating. He admires a coach who came to rebuild through work and not through marketing. And above all, he shows that his heart is beginning to look in the right direction. And this is where we, the Barcelona fans, must ask ourselves a serious question. Does Mbappé regret signing for Madrid? Everything seems to indicate it. He does not seem comfortable, he does not seem integrated, he does not smile as before. His body language, his statements, his frustration on the field, everything indicates that his decision to wear white was not the right one. And for a player who has always been ambitious and demanding, this must be devastating. It is curious to see how Florentino Perez, who boasts of controlling all aspects of the club, has failed resoundingly in what is most important, building a coherent project. He bet everything on a player, handed him the keys to the locker room before he even arrived, and now finds himself with a figure who is beginning to question from within. Where has the president's strategic vision gone? Where is that famous infallible plan that was supposed to render white supremacy? And even more provocative, what does the Madrid fanbase think now that their galactic transfer praises Barcelona, wants to work with its coach, and admires its players? Isn't the real mistake believing that everything is resolved with millions and empty promises? In Barcelona, meanwhile, things continue their course with serenity, humility, and work. The German coach has managed to convey a winning mentality without arrogance, has returned to the team a lost identity, and has achieved that even from the outside, this merit is recognized. Because when Mbappé says that Flick seems to him a technician of another level, he does not say it out of courtesy. He says it because he sees it, because he feels it, because he experiences it. And we, the Barcelona fans, must value that. It is not just any player making these statements. It is one of the great figures of world football, someone who has been in the best scenarios, who knows the demand of the highest level. And if he looks at Barca with admiration, it's because something very good is being done. So, dear Barcelona fans, what do you think? Is Mbappé beginning to realize his mistake? Could it be that his final destination should have been the Camp Nou? Would you welcome him if he decides one day to rectify? And above all, don't you find it delicious to see how those in white, who mocked so much, now have to face a problem they themselves created? To the Madrid fans, we can only say one thing. When you recruit for marketing and not out of conviction, when you prioritize the show before work, when you believe you can buy loyalties with money, these things happen. And this time, there is no media campaign that can hide it. Florentino, they sold you a dream and woke you up with a nightmare. Barca, without fanfare or propaganda, continues to demonstrate that greatness is not built with resounding transfers but with silent work. And if even Mbappé says so, there must be a reason. Look how the White Castle trembles, Barcelona fan. You too, do you think Mbappé chose the wrong jersey? What message does all this leave you with? Share your opinion, because today more than ever, reality speaks for itself. And we, from our home, continue to walk firmly while others wonder if they are really where they wanted to be. Leave us your opinion in the comments.